Even though I'm not quite ready for fall patterns, I'm always ready to check out a new Know Me drop because these are patterns that are being dropped by your favorite designers that you know from social media, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. Many of these people I consider sewing friends, sewing associates, so I'm always happy to see what they've designed and created. But I will say that summer is going by way too fast. I feel like I've missed summer somehow and I can't believe we're already looking at fall patterns. But alas, they are here. So we're going to take a look and discuss. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. But first,
Hi, I'm Tiffany of Tip Stitched, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we discuss all things sewing and DIY.
first up, we have a two-piece knit set from Alissah Threads. And this is actually a unisex set, which I think is actually okay in this oversized sweatsuit set that we have here. You know, I sometimes don't like unisex patterns, but this one I think actually makes perfect sense. We are going to take a look at the line drawings first, just so we can see the views here, the differences between view A and view B. And essentially, they're the same. They're both going to have drop shoulders, baggy, oversized fit, and rib knit for the neckband, sleeve band, and hem band. The difference here is view A is going to have more of a traditional, narrower neckband, and view B is going to have a wider or taller neckband that gives you more of like a funnel look that we'll see on Alissah in a minute. And then view C is elastic waist shorts with side inseam pockets. Now, I think this is fine. I do think for a fall release, they should have also added pants. I think that was a miss here. I mean, it's not going to be very long for you to lengthen these shorts into pants, but I think it would have been really easy to add a view D that had like wide leg sweatsuit pants, and maybe even a view E. This would be essentially the same, but you would just add elastic to the hem of the pants for more of a classic sweatsuit look, but that's neither here nor there. Um, If we take a look on the pattern envelope, we can see that view A has that classic, look of a neckband, and view B has that higher neck. I think we see it again on the next photos. All right, so here you can see this is view A, very baggy, very loose fitting, and you have maybe a little bit wider neckband than typical, but certainly not as wide as what we have here on Alissah that gives you more of that funnel neck look. You can see the details of the drop shoulders here on her shoulder, and you can see that it is paired with the shorts with both of, oh, well, I guess just that one top view, but you can sort of see it here. Not surprisingly, this pattern is going to come in lettered sizing because you are looking at an oversized unisex fit. So you're going to have it between extra small and extra, extra large. They suggest a fleece, a ponte, or a terry knit for this. And then, of course, for the contrast, you would be looking at a rib knit, although you could make it out of any of the previous knits mentioned as well. That would be totally optional. The good thing is here that both sweatshirts can be made in a little under 2 yards, or the shorts can be made in about 1.5 yards. It doesn't take a lot to make this set come together. So I think that that is really good. And overall, I think this is cute because what do we think of, or at least what do I think of when I think of fall? A sweatsuit, it's definitely it. I just wish that there was a pants option added on. Next up, we have another unisex pattern, but this one is brought to us by Brittany J. Jones, who is bringing us a Moto jacket, which I think is interesting. So let's take a look at the details here. First of all, as a typical Moto jacket, you're going to have like an asymmetrical sort of front zip. You're going to have 2 welt pockets on the side. There is a notch lapel collar. Because it's unisex, you're going to have that drop sleeve for a little bit more relaxed fit. You're going to have a back yoke. And then the interesting thing about this is that all of the hem trims here are basically like a Sherpa or like a faux fur, which definitely makes sense for fall and definitely going into winter. So let's go back up and take a look at it on the lovely couple, because I know that this is Brittany's husband. Here you can see that it looks great on both of them. Again, I guess I'm changing my stats on unisex patterns. But here on Brittany, you see that Sherpa detail that's adding that nice extra warmth. You have the zip up front and those drop shoulders. It like everything just comes together so nicely. Then we can also see it here with the nice big collar with the knots lapel. Very nice. Works on both of them. Pair it with anything on top of anything that you want. She has this contrasting top stitching, which makes that pop, which is really nice as well. And this, again, is going to be in unisex sizes. So you're looking at an extra small to an extra, extra large. They suggest a corduroy, which, ooh, I love denim, but corduroy would be so nice. Cotton blends, denim, of course, faux leather and micro suede would be amazing, as well as just any twill. And then for the contrast, although Brittany here is using the Sherpa, you could also use like a faux fur or like a printed fur. Ooh, like a leopard. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And this is lined, so you need like cotton or polyester for the lining. It's fusible. Overall, the jacket, if you use a 60-inch fabric, only takes a little over 2 yards. So I think that that's great for a jacket. That actually really works. You can see the finished measurements here and everything for a little bit more details there. I love a Moto jacket. I don't know that I'm going to grab that one because I have some already that I haven't made. But if you don't have a Moto jacket pattern, I think that this is a really good one. And the fact that it's unisex is also pretty cool. And I definitely think this one could transition into winter very well. I'm scrolling up to point out to you that they do always have the sew along videos for these patterns. And so if you're new to sewing, if you're new to sewing a Moto jacket, if you're worried about how to sew the Sherpa, all of that I'm sure is going to be addressed in the YouTube video. So make sure if you buy a Know Me pattern that you check those out, because as well as the written directions, you will have the video to walk you through step by step, which is great. I love that Brittany is involving the whole family in this fall release. Next up, we have this denim dress that comes in both a women's and a girl's version, which I do think is super cute. You can see here that her daughter and her are matching, doing a little mommy and me vibes, which I think is super cute. But you could also do it with like your niece or a cousin or a goddaughter or something. You know, I don't know. It can go for either way. So I think that this is really cute, and I do think they make it a distinction to call this a denim dress and not a shirt dress, although it very much has shirt dress vibes, because you can see here that if you take the bodice of this off, the top portion of this off, you basically just have a classic denim skirt on the bottom. You have a waistband with belt loops, a button closure, a fly zip. You have the curved pockets with the coin pocket also added on here. And then on the back, you have a back yoke as well as what looks like traditional like denim jean pocket. So I think you could actually even make this just the skirt and not attach the bodice. It would still be super cute. But of course, we're looking at the whole dress here, which also features a back yoke, a collar stand, a collar, a button placket. You have flap patch pockets here that have the angle at the bottom. So again, just very reminiscent of what we expect to see in anything denim, really. So if we look at this on Brittany, you can really see how cute this dress is. Like I said, I love that when they make a pattern that has like a mini-me version, because I do have a daughter. And although at this point, I'm not really sure she wants to twin with me, I still think that it's a super cute idea. I like how Brittany dressed it up with like little booties. And then she kept her daughter super chill and some high top Converse. Very cute. It looks like here she used maybe snaps for the buttons, which just makes a whole lot of sense with denim. You see these angled pockets with the flap here. You have that detail. And then you can see, the little coin pocket here, all the top stitching that you traditionally see with denim. Now, they show it here on this version on both models in the denim, but I think that this could work in any type of twill. You could do this in a corduroy, would be really cute as well. Again, here you have the snap details. And then here's the back details where you'll see the yoke as well as the patch pockets on the skirt. Just very cute. Let's look at what they suggest for fabrics. And they say chambray, which would work because that would give you more of like a shirt dress weight. Corduroy, like I said, I think would be great. Any sort of cotton, denim. This would be fire in like a faux leather. I could definitely see that. They also say linen blends, lightweight suede, and any twill, which denim is a twill. So this works great. What I don't like about when they put the missies and the girls' patterns together is you have limited sizing. So for the girls, 7 to 14 makes sense. You would want this for like a preteen, an older girl. I don't really see you going through this, making this pattern for a toddler. I mean, maybe, but I can understand why they would not include that sizing. But for the women's sizing, for the missus sizing, you're limited to between 10 and 18. And I just wish they would make two separate pattern envelopes, one that went 10 to 18 for the women's, and then another one that went like 20 to 28. That would make more sense to me, but hey, no one asked me. But yeah, I think that this is a nice pattern. It doesn't take a whole lot of fabric. I like that you can have a mommy and me moment. To me, it's, it's very cute. I could see it being flattering. It was definitely perfect for fall, like the epitome of fall. Dress it up with boots, dress it down with sneakers. It definitely is giving what it's supposed to give. All right, we have our first new designer in this fall release, and it is So Bake Make. I had the pleasure of testing one of Candace's latest patterns for her independent line, So Bake Make, and I'll pop a little picture of that up here. Super cute. Absolutely love that set. If you're curious about that set, check out my blog post on it because I really enjoyed pattern testing for her, and I really like that set. So clearly, we share a similar dynamic. But now, let's talk about the pattern at hand, which is 2134, her first release with Know Me and the Big Five. I love this. Again, we apparently have the same sort of style because I think that this is great. I often see a wrap pant pattern and want to make it in like theory, but don't actually want to make it in reality. Sometimes they just seem like they're heavy to me, they're too fiddly, and they're not really practical for everyday wear. But for some reason, this is different to me. I could definitely see myself wearing this. The extra plus for me on this pattern is that the tops are included. I actually thought that this was just a pattern for the pants until I looked at the line drawing and said, no, there's also a top. So the top is pretty simple, but you do have two views, just sleeveless and long sleeve. Both feature a cowl neck and like a pretty fitted bodice. Of course, these are going to be made out of a knit because they're going to be a pull-on top. But these are basic and still cute because you could wear view A with no sleeves, definitely with these pants or any other pants, and a jacket or a cardigan, and definitely give a fall vibe. And if you're not the kind of person who's into doing all those layers, you could just make the long sleeve version and wear it with any pant or skirt or whatever as well. So both of those actually work and are really practical, but the standout of this pattern set is definitely the pants. So if we take a look at the details of the pants here, there's no waistband. Probably going to have twill tape or bias tape at the top hem here. You have these nice wide ties that bring the wrap around the front. You can see here that the wrap has a little nice drape, and it's a little asymmetrical. It cuts over to one leg, so it's not a wrap pant in the fact that maybe it looks like a skirt from the front, but pants from the back. You definitely know it's pants right away. Looks like it has a fly zip here. We can see that little bit of a detail. And the overall fit is fitted in the waist and hips and then flares out. Not a true flare, but just gradually sort of flares out into a wide leg at the bottom. You also have these long darts for shaping in the back, making it easy to make fit adjustments, I feel. And you have a welt pocket. Don't know if that's a true welt pocket or not. Let's look at the description. It says back welt pocket, so I guess it's functional. Yep, exactly. Let's take a look at them on her. So I think I like the main picture with the white top and the natural pants, but I don't know if that's because I prefer it with the sleeveless look or the black just looks a little too harsh for me. Either way, here's the shirt. Very cute. Not extremely fitted, but sort of fitted. You definitely have a slight cowl, nothing too dramatic. And then we have it here in the long sleeve. Same thing. Just, of course, long sleeve. So cute. Basic knit top. But here we get to take a look at the pants, and I really like the way that this line cuts across the front. I like that the ties are nice and wide. I like the overall fit of the leg. Very cute to me. Here we can see it again. Same thing. I wish we would have seen it in two different patterns. Two different fabric options. Here you see that back dart that lets you do that fitting. So overall, just really simple, but very nice. They are suggesting, of course, for the top, a stretch knit. Any knit will pretty much work for this. I'm not even limiting myself to what they said because you could do it in a sweater knit if you really wanted to, but it's saying bamboo, cotton, ITY, jersey, or Moto. As long as it meets the stretch requirements, I think it would be fine. A rib knit, anything. And then for the pants, they're recommending a cotton blend, gabardine, which, that would be nice, and a nice drapey gabardine. Medium weight linen blends, which is what her version looks like to me. Rayon, Satin, I guess if you were going to do a dressy pant, something you could wear out to a little evening, I guess I could see it in the satin, or a soft suiting. I've never heard it called soft suiting, but basically I think they just mean any suiting with a little bit of drape. Maybe a crepe. I don't know. Anyway, you're gonna need some single fold bias tape. That's probably for the waistband, and then a zipper for the fly and a hook and bar. I do like that this goes from an 8 to a 16 and then an 18 to a 26. Could the sizing be greater? Of course, but this is better than some, like the one we just saw from Brittany. Have your measurements here. Another thing that I really love is that sleeveless top, that sleeveless basically like shell in any size is less than a yard of fabric. So be prepared to see a lot of these from me, because I think that this is just a really good scrap buster. And then despite the fact that you have the wrap, the pants still only take 2 3/4 yard in the largest size with 60-inch fabric, which is probably what I'd be using. So I think that also works really well. Overall, I think this is a great first pattern and introduction to the Know Me line, if it continues to exist with all the stuff going on with the Big Five right now. But anyway, I think that this is a really cute set, and I'm very happy that she's a new designer and that this is the first pattern that she brought us. Our second new pattern designer in this lineup is Classyfied Life, or Denisha, who I consider a friend. I love Denisha, and I'm excited to see this from her. If you follow her page at Instagram, then you'll know that she's pretty active, so it makes incredible sense that she would come out with like an activewear set as her first pattern with the Know Me line. The only thing more appropriate would have been a swimsuit. If you don't follow her, because her swimsuits are out of this world. But this definitely makes sense and is totally on brand for her. This is a pretty basic set, but sometimes basic is good. Let's take a look at the line drawings first. First up, you can see that view A is like a tank top. It is going to have no front seams and just a center back seam, a nice scoop neck in the front and the back. Definitely something that you can work out in, layer, wear at home, at your leisure, etc. And then the pants are going to have this super wide yoga-like waistband with a detail that I don't think I've seen before of sort of like this back yoke built into the waistband here. I feel like that's going to make, your booty pop a little bit, which, ain't nobody ever mad at that. And then the pants have sort of a slight flare at the bottom. And let's look at them on her. She has it here in 2 different athletics sets colors. Both colors are really cute. Again, nothing really revolutionary here, but very cute in the fact that it's practical and definitely something that you could either work out or lounge in. It looks great here in the burgundy, and here is more of like a steel blue gray. Also looks really cute. You can see here that there's not a true flare. It's not really big here on the bottom, but it's giving you a little something. Here again in the gray. I wanted to get to the back view here where you can see that detail of the sort of V chevron thing going on here in the waistband at the back. And again, nice scoop in the front and the back there. So pretty nice basic set here. It's available in an extra small to an extra large. Basically any activewear knit, spandex, any two-way stretch. This needs to be more than just stretching in one direction. You need to stretch in both as you do for like all activewear. A rib knit would work for this. The honeycomb knit would work for this. A nice athletic, wicking, moisture wicking type thing would work for this. A bamboo or a rayon would be nice. Any knit that meets the stretch percentage. You don't need a lot of fabric for this set, as the most you need for even the extra large is 1 1/4 for the top and 2 1/4 for the bottoms. So in just 3.5 yards, you could have a nice workout set. As you're going into the fall, maybe also make like a cute little hoodie and, have a whole athletic wardrobe there for you. So this is a cute set from Classyfied Life and a great first entry to the Know Me branding. Donny Q often gives us a really good look in these Know Me releases, like something different. And he puts his own twist on it. So I like this. Here we have like a half button up pullover. They are calling these unisex contrast jackets, and I definitely understand that. Let's take a look at the line drawings here. For view A, you have a button, like a quarter, half, whatever, button up into a funnel neck. You have raglan sleeves, which to me is just always comfy. I love how they did this sort of curved front yoke for the contrast fabric here. Usually this line sort of maybe goes straight across or something like that. I like how this gives a subtle curve. And then they use the same contrast for the kangaroo pocket here. And I like that it has a drawstring at the waist. It looks like that the end of the sleeve here is finished off with like a bias, like a double fold bias or something here. So just a nice cozy pullover. You can see that same curved line yoke on the back as well. And then if we scroll down a little bit more and look at view B, it's very similar to view A, except for here, instead of a funnel neck, we have a full hood with that like centerpiece, which I like in a hood. You have that same curved yoke, same button placket, but instead of a kangaroo pocket, you have sort of like a hidden kangaroo pocket, right? Like they almost give like this faux welt look, and then you still have that drawstring waistband. So I definitely like the options that you have here. If we take a look at them on the models, you can see Donny has on view A, which has the funnel neck. You have this contract sort of lining fabric here, and he did it in all Sherpa. You can see this curved line across the top. You can see the details here on the second contrast for the bands on the sleeve. And then on the other model, you have the welt pockets, which I think make a kangaroo pocket on the, they might be two separate pockets, I'm not sure. You have the hood here, and you have a drawstring, same button placket, same sleeve. So it's definitely an interesting look, and you can see here that they flipped it. His top piece is the white with like the tan teddy bear on the bottom, and hers is more of the tan on the top, the cream on the bottom. So this is where you can have a lot of fun playing with the contrast. Because it's unisex, it's definitely going to be oversized, but that is great in a pullover or like a hoodie, so that makes perfect sense here. You can see him here with the hood pulled up. Looks, very comfy, very snuggly. I don't particularly love working with Sherpa fabric, so this would probably be in a sweatsuit fleece if I did it, but let's take a look at the fabrics that they suggest. It looks like they're saying fleece, sweatshirt fleece. That's what I would probably do. Pre-quilted fabric, that would definitely work. Ponte also makes a lot of sense. And then for the second contrast, that brown part around the button and stuff, there's going to be a more stable woven. So that's going to be cotton. Cotton blends are lightweight nylon, which makes sense. And there's some interfacing in here somewhere. This is unisex, so expect the sizing to run a little large, but we do have an extra small to an extra large here. You are going to need some additional notions, and then everything's broken up, how you're going to need it for which contrast piece you want. So I do think you could have a lot of fun with sewing this set, because you could really play around with your color blocking here. You could, of course, make it all out of one fabric if you wanted to, but the kind of color blocking definitely makes it interesting, and nothing really says fall more than like a hoodie or a pullover, so this is perfect. Lynn Brannelly is giving us some layering here. So you have both a blouse and a jacket. And if you take a look at this on her, she used like a faux leather for this jacket, which is really sort of like a crop jacket, full on two-piece sleeves. You have the inverted pleat on the patch pocket with the flap and a button, lots of details there. It has a zipped front as well. And then you can see here, just the blouse gives us like a pussy bow tie here, a loose sort of hem. And she did it in this funky floral fabric. It looks great with jeans. You can see here with the jacket open. We can see here the full look. I don't know how much I love the long shirt coming up under the crop jacket. I think if I'm going to wear a crop jacket, I'd probably wear a more fitted shirt. But again, it's the fall. It's all for layering. If we look at the line drawings here, you can see that you have this pussy bow tie, this button up front. You have a full cuff with a little pleat and a button. And this is a little bit, it's not really a shirt tail hem, but it's definitely sort of a high-low. So it's a little bit higher in the front, a little bit longer in the back here. And then if we look at view B for the jacket, you have this wide sort of collar or neckband here, a zip front, those pockets that I spoke about. You definitely have a two-piece sleeve and a cuff, as well as a hemband along the bottom with darts in the back for like fitting. And then let's take a look at the details here for all the fabric requirements and stuff. For the blouse, you just want a drapey woven, so something like a charmeuse, cotton lawn, georgette. Shirtings would be a little bit stiffer, but like silky type fabrics would definitely give you that drape. And then for the jacket, they are saying denim, micro suede, stretch wovens, synthetic leather, or twill, and all of that makes perfect sense. The lining, cotton, polyester, basic kind of stuff. You're going to have buttons and zippers for your notions, and this is available from a size 10 to 18, I think, and then 18 to 26, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why they couldn't have just added on the little 28. But anyway, yeah, so this is a cute two-piece. Fall is all for layering, so you could wear these two pieces separately or together, and they definitely, are giving fall. Holly Darling is giving us a sweatsuit set here, and I love a sweatsuit set for the fall. I grab sweatsuit fleece as soon as I see it somewhere for a good price and great stretch, and some of what I have in my collection may be used for making this pattern because I like the detailing of the trim. They are calling the sweatsuit top a corseted silhouette. And while I don't really think that that's the right word for it, I don't know what would be, so we're just going to go with that. It does give you a little bit of corset details in the line work, but it's definitely not at all fitted like a corset. You also have wide leg sweatsuit pants for the bottom with the drawstring, which I also like because there's just nothing not to like there. We'll look at the line drawings first to look at these corseting details. First up, you have this corseting detail on the bodice where you have like a bandeau top here that's sort of outlined in the trim as well as the seams. And then you have these two seam lines with the trim going down that gives it the air quote corseted look. They also use a rib knit at the neck, waist, and arm bands here. So overall, just a pretty simple sweatshirt, but it's giving you these extra seamed and lined details in the front here. So that's a little bit different. Looks very much like, I don't know, what I would expect to see from like Vicky Soles maybe, but this is cute. And then the pants have the drawstring, the elastic pull-on pant, of course. You have that trim going down the front and back side seams, as well as like this built-in pocket in the panel. I think you could even elevate this another level by adding another color for the side panel, the trim, and then a main fabric. That would be really cute. Let's take a look at it on her and on the envelope. Oops. All right, here we have it on her, the both two-piece sets. You can see here the detail of adding in the seaming. Now that I see it on her, I don't know that I love it as much as I want to because it is going to be difficult to get these curve lines just right, but it's still cute. It's also in cream and red, which are my sorority colors, so I already like it. You can see here from the full view that she added a red drawstring as well as the red details on the pants, which I think we can see better in the next picture. Yep, there we go. You can see here how that built-in pocket is in the side panel, and I always really like that as well. But again, I think that you can maybe make this another color, then have the trim, then have a main color as well if you wanted to, take it up to a tertiary. Try it. You know what I'm trying to say. Look, that could work as well. But all in all, even with just the two colors, I think that is cute. It's definitely a set that I would wear, and I think I'll be grabbing this one just because there's only so many things you could do to a sweatsuit, so I like when people switch it up. They recommend a double knit, so like a Ponte, a Liverpool, a Scuba, any double knit, a fleece, a French terry. Oh, they say Ponte, or a sweatshirt fleece. And the contrast, they just mean the ribbing along all of the top holes, the arm, the neck band, the sleeve band, and the hem band in a rib knit. And this is available in a size 4 to 12 and then 14 to 22. They give you, of course, all the measurements and everything here. So yeah, I think this is a cute set. I think that this would be something that would look really chic in black and white because, I don't know, y'all know I love black and white. I could also see making it maybe in like a black and then doing the trim and chartreuse, are neon pink or a bright color, and it sort of looks like very electric, very 90s or something. I could see that too. Anyway, I could see you having a lot of fun with this, and I just love a sweatsuit, so I'm not going to find a lot of flaws here. 2139 is from the Stitch Fits, and this is a trench coat, essentially, and a hoodie insert. Let's take a look at the pattern envelope for once first, and here you can see very full-length coat. It's almost giving more winter than fall to me, but I love a good trench, so you're not going to get any complaints out of me. This is like a double-breasted. You have these huge lapels here at the neckline, come all the way out to the shoulder. There is a little bit of notching there as well. And then you have your buttons. I don't know if this is a welt pocket or just like a side detail here, but overall still very cute. I like it in the gray. Throw it on over jeans. Definitely makes sense. Nice long sleeves come halfway down the hand. You have a little bit of flare here and a lot of nice seaming details in the back that we'll look at the line drawing. Oh, and we're already at that point. So let's scroll down to the line drawing here. See how you have this double-breasted, large lapel with a notch collar as well. Two-piece sleeve as you would expect on a nice jacket like this. You have inseam pockets here, button detail at the cuff. You don't really need a vent because it's a nice long piece here. Very nice. Like it a lot. And then here you have what they're calling a hoodie insert, which is interesting to me because if I'm wearing an elevated jacket like this jacket, I don't know why I'm bringing in a hood, but you know, you can blend the dressy and the casual. It can definitely work. So this is just sort of like a dickie, but a hoodie. So you're just going to have a zip front, the drawstring detail, a nice, what looks to be probably a massive hood. And you can wear that under this jacket. I would also argue that I would wear this under like my favorite sweatshirt that just happens not to be a hoodie. That could work as well, especially if you're going for warmth. So looking at the details here, you can see that they suggest basically wools or twills for the coat. And for the hoodie dickie situation, you're looking at double knits, fleece, ponte, sweatshirt, fleece. Basically anything that you would make a hoodie out of is what you would use here. You do need a bunch of buttons for the jacket, shoulder pads, pair of sleeve heads, because you are really going to want a tailored look here. And then for the dickie, you're going to want a separating zipper because you need to be able to get it on, and some twill tape because there are ties on the sides. This is also available from an 8 to a 16 and then an 18 to a 26. You have all your measurements here and, you know, all the details. Overall, I don't know how much I like these two pieces together, but I could definitely see both of these pieces separately, and that's a win. Now, 2140 is Keechii B styles, and I always love Marisha's, you know, unique style that's just her. And this is a corset style shirt dress in a midi length. I actually want to start with the pictures first on this one because I think that this sort of shows the flexibility. This one view in the blue looks like it is some type of fleece, maybe a wool, maybe even a ponte. I'm not sure, but you see it here in this solid color and it's bold. You have these corseting details similar to the sweatsuit from Holly Darling, where you have these sort of details here with the seams. And then you have these lantern sleeves that are nice and voluminous at the base, patch pockets, and then this asymmetrical hem. Let me zoom back out. You have this asymmetrical hem here at the bottom as well. So just a lot of unique concepts going on together. And then here in the red, or like this deep crimson, is it in a faux leather. And again, you have these corseted details here with the seaming, the big lantern sleeves, and then the asymmetrical hem as well. She pairs it with some mules, some slide-on mules here. Here you can see it from the side view. This asymmetrical hem sort of allows for there to be slits on both sides. Let's take a look at the line drawings and then we'll come back to all the pattern, the fabric stuff. So here you can see on the line drawing the details here that are given the corset, which also translate to the back because you still have these line seams in the back. You have an angular waist here, which also goes with the angular hem at the bottom. View A has the patch pockets with the flap on the front, whereas view B gives us this very pointed collar. So there's subtle differences between view A and view B, but that's fine because there's a lot going on with this. So this sort of works just to have these two small changes to give you the difference in the views. I don't really think you need the patch pockets as you already have the angled pockets here on the main bodice, but the collar does add a little something to me. So let's take a look now back at the details. So let's scroll back up and take a look at some of the details here for the fabric requirements and such, the sizing. The sizing goes from a 10 to 18 and then 18 to 26, I believe. They suggest cotton, denim, micro suede, shirting, faux leather, or twill. You will need some interfacing here. You definitely need a zipper here as well. And then it just gives you the details that you need here for the sizing and the fabric. Like I said, it's definitely a unique look, different. I don't think we've seen another Big Five pattern that gives you this silhouette. So I always like when the designers come up with something new and different. We have another very unique pattern here from the Corny Rainbow or Nefertiti. I love Nef. She's super sweet, such a nice person. And this is a cute pattern. You can see on the envelope here, she's giving us two very different looks, but we're going to start with the line drawing so we can see all the details here. This is going to be an off-the-shoulder romper and jumpsuit. View A is, I consider a romper to be shorts and a jumpsuit to be pants. That's not the actual definition, but that's just how I refer to them. So view A is going to be more of a romper. View B is going to be a jumpsuit, at least the way that my mind works. They both feature an off-the-shoulder design with long sleeves and a button cuff. The waistband as well as the off-the-shoulder, like hem at the top, are very wide and elasticized. Both also include a hidden button placket along the front center seam, and they both have a ton of pockets. Starting off with view A, the romper, you have two patch pockets with the flap on the chest, two patch pockets on the behind, on the back, and then two large pockets on the front, as well as two cargo pockets towards the bottom hem. View B is very similar with all those same pockets, plus two additional cargo pockets below the knee. This reminds me a lot of all the pockets and cargo pockets we had on the wrap front cargo pants from Keechii B Style a few pattern releases ago. View B also has a hem band, so you can cinch the legs down at the ankle. Now, let's take a look at this pattern on Nefertiti here. And she's given us two different views with a denim and then a faux leather. Two very different looks. Here is a patchwork denim. You can see here the off-the-shoulder feature, the elasticized waistband. You can also see these cargo pockets here. It's a little bit harder to see these patch pockets on the front just because of the detailing of the fabric, but here you do have that hidden button placket beneath there and the cuffs and everything on the sleeves. Now for the faux leather pants jumpsuit view, you can see that you have these cargo pockets above the knee, sort of at an angle, and then we add more pockets here below the knee that are also cargo with a flap, and you can see the leg hem here where you could snatch this a little bit tighter with the buttons that you have there. Of course, it's still off the shoulder in the leather view as well, so very dramatic, very unique here with the knee-high boots. Really sets it off, and then, again, more detailing here. You can see the back patch pockets as well. So let's look at the details. They are offering a wide variety of suggested fabrics here. Chino, denim, faux leather, stretch wovens, and twill. And then you do need some interfacing. You are definitely going to need a lot of elastic and a bunch of buttons for both of these views. It's available in a size 8 to 16 and then 18 to 26. So that's nice. The romper takes at most about 3 yards, and the jumpsuit takes as much as 4.5 yards, it looks like, a little bit less. So yeah, you have a lot of options here. As usual with any of these patterns, much like the wrap patterns from Keechii B style, I'm not adding all these pockets. I mean, I love for women's garments to have pockets, but I'm not making all these pockets, sewing on all these extra cargo pockets. I could stop at the ones that are right there along the front. I don't need the 2 to 4 cargo pockets on the bottom, but that's what makes it style. Like, they don't have to be functional. They're just making a statement. So this is a really interesting pattern because I don't know how many off the shoulder jumpsuits I've seen, especially ones that aren't like close fitting and like being pushed to be a little bit more dressy. This is very much like a casual off the shoulder jumpsuit moment. It is not a Nomi release, and we do not have some patterns from Norris Danta Ford. And here we go. 2142 is a menswear pattern here. You're going to have a button-up shirt and a pant, which, you know, you're always going to have for men. I want to look at the line drawings here so you can see the extra details that he does add to this menswear pattern. And for view B, it's the fact that it's a little bit of a drop sleeve with a gathered sleeve, still a cuff and buttons, still a button front, still a collar stand and a collar. You have the inverted pleat or the pleat in the back with the back yoke and the like loop tie, the loop. I always like that little back loop. And then the pants are going to be more of a barrel pant, and you have the pockets in this front side seam, which I do think is interesting along that curve of the barrel leg. It's going to have a fly zip, it's an optional belt, waistband with button loops for the belt, going to have a yoke in the back and patch pockets, but it overall has that barrel shape. So let's take a look at everything on Norris himself. If we look at the pattern envelope here, he's given us sort of like a half tuck with the shirt, and the combo is interesting because it looks like this fabric of the shirt sort of has this pink fibers in the shirt that sort of go with the pants. And this is pink, lavender, mauve, maybe. Anyway, like how the colors play together there. You can see it has this large patch pocket on the front. You can't see the barrel as much as I thought you could see here on him, but it definitely overall has that shape. You have the details of the button cuff here, always nice and classic. Like I said, oversized pocket here, button down shirt, of course, with the collar. And so if we look at the details here for the men, it's in a size 34 to 42 and then 44 to 52. For the fabrics, for a button-up, typical fabrics you would expect: chambray, cotton, cotton blends, linen blends, poplins or shirtings. And then for the pants, chinos, twills, linen, denim, cotton blends. You're also going to need some interfacing. Of course, for the button-up shirt, you're going to need a ton of buttons. And then you are going to need some buttons for the jean as well. So very nice. Can't go wrong with the two-piece set. You know, there's only so much variety you get in the men's, but they did add the gathered, oh, we didn't look at that closely. They did add the detail, sort of this gathered sleeve here with the drop sleeve, which is different. And then you also have the barrel leg shape of the jeans. All right, so that is everything for the fall release from Nomi. You never have a ton of patterns in this release because, you know, each individual designer is making their own 1 or 2 patterns for each season. But I always love to see what they come up with because these are the people that are in the community, the people that you follow, the people that, you know, you make online friends with. So I'm always very interested to see what they bring out. And I think that overall the designers did a really great job this time. And even though I'm not ready to sew for fall, I am excited about a few of these patterns. Let me know which ones you're looking forward to making, maybe which ones you don't like so much or don't quite get. And as usual, we will hash it out in the comments. Can't wait to talk to you about it. Until next time, happy sewing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy sewing.